Welcome back to Project 613. Today we learn 3 mitzvot on the topic of different donations or dedications that are made to the Holy Temple and valuating how much is owed for each specific item. So the first mitzvah that we have today is if a person wishes to dedicate an animal to the treasury of the Holy Temple. So there is a mitzvah that the Kohen should the priest evaluates how much this animal is worth, and then the donor knows how much to pay to the temple treasury. Now here we are talking about a non-kosher animal or a kosher animal which has a blemish, and therefore in either of these two examples they cannot be brought as a sacrifice in the temple, and therefore if a person wishes to dedicate such an animal, they would instead donate their value. Of course, if it was a kosher animal we were talking about, then they can donate the animal itself and it could be used for the sacrifices that were brought in the temple. The second mitzvah that we have today is if a person wishes to donate the value of his house to the temple treasury. Here again, the Kohen does a valuation on how much the house is worth, and based on this, the donor would pay that amount of money to the temple treasury. What happens if a person makes such a donation and then wants to redeem his house? He wants to buy it back. He is allowed to. However, he would have to pay an additional 20% of the value in order to buy it back. The third mitzvah that we have is if a person wishes to donate the value of a field. Now here it becomes slightly more complex, because when it comes to a field and evaluating a field, there are more things to consider. Number one, there are different types of fields. There is something called stei achuza and something called stei mikne. The difference is a field which a person has by inheritance versus a field which a person purchased. Then, with any field that a person purchased in the land of Israel, the way it works in halacha is that they have a term. It's like a lease until the Jubilee year. So depending on how close one is to the Jubilee year, that's how much value the field will have. If we are on the 50 years away, you would have more value. If you're only 1 or 2 years away, of course the field will have much less value. So the Kohen would have to take this into consideration as well. And in addition, when it comes to a field, of course, another thing that has to be taken into consideration is how much does this field produce, what its production is. And all of these factors would be considered by the Kohen. This would be his job. He would do evaluation, and then the individual would know how much to pay to the temple treasury. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.